Do we know if we're going to live tomorrow? No.
No. At least women should empower women and not pull them down, not gossip about them, not bitch about them.
I choose peace over any drama today, Preeti. Any drama. What was my career all about? He used to call me tent wala. He used to call me fool wala.
I don't expect a lot of support from men in general. I saw everything as black and white. You know, life was black and white. Ya to ye, ya to wo. Okay, there was no in between. Hi and welcome to Reset Your Life. Life is all about challenges. It's the chances you take and it's the change you make in your life. Here in Reset Your Life, I'd like to talk to people who have faced various walls in their life and how they've emerged out of these challenges. And I hope to inspire all of you with their stories because you have something in common with everybody in this world. Today, my guest is Swati Panday. Swati is a wedding decor stylist, very interesting life and very interesting career. And I'd like to hear more about it from you. Hi Swati, welcome to the show.
Hi, Preeti. Thank you for having me.
So Swati has been someone I've known for the last 20 years or more. I was first her client.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a very stubborn client.
Oh yeah, see, you know, when you like beautiful things and you're a perfectionist, you're called a stubborn client. But she did a great job, and that's
Thank
how
you.
the proof of the pudding is we are friends today.
Thank you. Touchwood. God
Yeah,
bless.
you know.
Touchwood.
So, Swati, you know, I've seen your journey over the last 22 odd years. And what did you study?
Mass Comm and English Honours. By the way, I was also visiting faculty to NIFT Delhi.
Okay,
And I was teaching the final year students of fashion communication. 6 long years.
6 years?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, yeah,
So, you studied mass comm, you started teaching in NIFT.
Yeah,
And
Delhi
one fine day, 22 years ago, you decided to become a decor stylist, a wedding decor stylist?
Well, I would say life is a series of events, one after the other. I think it was luck, opportunity, and hard work, and of course, my passion for all things beautiful, all combined together. Here I am, 22 long withstanding years of journey into the beautiful world of weddings. Yeah.
So 22 years ago, when you decided you want to get into wedding decor, I mean, those days wedding decor नाम का तो कुछ था भी नहीं.
Correct.
So शादी का काम. You know, so how was you still live with your parents? How was their reaction?
That's a very interesting question. So my father was very, very rigid, you know. For him, it was like naak katna in the society, you know. Coming from a Gujarati background, everybody had huge expectations with me, you know. And for the longest time, it took a while for my father to understand what was my career all about. He used to call me tent wala. He used to call me fool wala. Meri beti fool wali hai. You know what I mean? And I said, Dad, you know what? This industry is the future of event and entertainment industry. And here I am, a series of events from weddings to fashion weeks to corporate events, all combined together, we became a design house for all sorts of events. And of course, weddings is our forte. You know, that's our area of specialization today. And across the globe is what we do. Weddings, all sorts, cross-cultural weddings.
So I must say, your dad would have been very proud of you when he saw you now. I mean, it's very natural. We came from a generation. I remember my father was, you know, he had the whole doctor, engineer.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
You know, expectation.
That was the mindset.
He even said pharmacist. I don't know from where. I think maybe some uncle or some cousin must have done it, and so he couldn't understand why I didn't want to become Dr. Chibber, and why I chose to do. I wanted to actually do design, and I was always, you know, inclined in that field, but I couldn't do it. And you know, I followed his advice because, you know, you were too scared to venture out on your own at that time.
Sure.
But I think we're a few lucky people who had the courage in our life to change our path. You
Correct.
know, I studied finance, and I was not myself very comfortable with that subject, and how I got into design, and then many other fields which catch my interest. So it's lovely to hear your journey and how you went into a field which was not heard of, and now that term wedding stylist is very common. So tell me, was there the similar kind of respect you have today for this field? And how was the point of view of your clients those days? Has it changed? How has this industry also evolved in the last 22 years?
Well, I would say today the entire industry in its totality, Preeti, it's become a very organized sector. In fact, events and entertainment industry per se in its totality across the world is one of the biggest revenue generating sectors for all economies across the world. And it's hugely received, widely appreciated. And of course, to answer in parts to your question.
How were your clients with
You know,
you,
my clients today.
20 years ago?
Well, they thought full wale aa gaye,
Ah,
tent
was
wale
that-
aa gaye.
yes, true.
And today they feel it's a glorified tent house. But 21st century's term would be a design house, a global centric, aesthetically sound design house.
But I
is how
completely
they-
agree with you. Today you have to get an appointment with a decor stylist. And
Yeah, the
you
top of
have
the
to-
line ones,
You have to
yeah.
hope that they are free.
Yeah, the top of the line ones.
So I must say this industry has come a long way.
100%. It's more structured, it's more organized, it's more evolved today in terms of everything. Initially when we started, it was all about the tent, the drapes, the trusses. Floral was one component, but today it's a world in itself. Weddings are a world in itself. I mean, sitting in New Delhi today, you can create a Venice, in a farmhouse or an open outdoor space. So I think there's a phenomenal growth in this sector, and you could do a great deal than what we could do 22 years ago. We've been very, very manually driven an industry.
When you're having a wedding, number one, I find weddings very ostentatious. Is there any end to spending that kind of money? Everything, everything is bent on that one day. Your sets are built on that one day. And they want that perfect Karan Johar movie. They expect that perfect Karan Johar movies. Do you get retakes when you're making weddings?
That's a very interesting question, Preeti. And yes, you rightly pointed out, the clients expect a world out of us. And as far as the deep pockets and spending capacity goes, I think it's a very personalized thing. It's very subjective, it's each to their own. And I would say there is no end to what people can create or spend. And the mindset today is that everything, right from welcoming of a guest to a bride's entry, to how the food is served, stage is laid out, the technical aspect, which is all the acoustics, all the sound and lights, all the detailing, props, carpeting, ceiling, the paraphernalia.
Where the
that
Varmala
comes
takes
to it.
place, even that is staged.
Oh yeah,
Everything is staged now.
So Jaimala stage to Milni stage.
The background
to
of the
entry.
Jaimala.
Of course. So that's the entire grandeur.
The entry of the bride.
Of course.
So it's like a movie now.
It is actually it's beyond a movie.
Yeah.
A movie you take months and months and months and years to produce. Of course, for the more detailed, big ticketed weddings, it is a sheer hard work. The time duration could be 6 months to a year to 1.5 years. Very, very subjective. But then we work round the clock like robots, like literally. Our industry is very time bound. Supposing you have an auspicious timing, which in India we are very specific about. पंडित जी ने मुहूर्त निकाला है 5 बजे, अगर 5:30 6 o'clock का फेरा है, sundown फेरा, you're set. If it's in a hotel in the ballroom and they already have a conference in the afternoon, a client doesn't want to book the ballroom in advance because they obviously pay money to block a ballroom. God help us, extra manpower, light, camera, action, and we are gone. Prefabricated weeks and months in advance in our back-end factories and units, and then bring it to life into the ballroom. So, there is a lot of quick, timely management that is involved, which an end user, which is specifically, I'm directing it to my clients, they don't realize. For them, it's like the moment you enter the ballroom, everything should be spick and span. But guys, there is a months and months and months and days and weeks of planning, sheer hard work. 18 hours, 20 hours, 22 hours that we all spend building up your sets. Yeah.
So tell me something, this profession and working, how has it impacted your life in general? It sounds like a challenge, you sound exhausted, you seem exhausted. And 22 years of doing this, last minute planning, mishaps happening, and yet having a, perfect wedding, perfect, picture perfect. It's not called picture perfect for nothing. How has this impacted your personal life?
So when you talk about personal life, are you directing your question to anything in specific, Preeti?
I mean, as a woman, we have to play various roles.
Yeah, 100%.
You're a
Yeah.
daughter, you're
My
a wife,
children, yeah,
you're
yeah.
a mother,
Yeah, yeah.
you're a friend.
Yeah.
Have you been able to
So,
balance your life?
so some days, look, all of us are human beings. It's not easy. I mean, for that matter, not just the wedding industry. I think even doctors, lawyers, uh, robotic engineers. Life is not easy on any. In fact, most working women, like teachers bring back work home. We in wedding industry, yeah, supposing my daughter's sitting, I'm on my laptop, and she's asking a question, and the client is on the other side. We're like working like robots, multitasking. And suddenly my kids will go, Mom, you're not listening. That guilt factor sometimes hits you so bad because here you've built a profession where people resort to you for your perfection. And there your children are demanding time,
For the basic
attention.
things.
Yeah, for, to chat up with you, to catch up with you, to share everything with you. But some days, honestly, being into this profession, as much as it sounds and looks glamorous, it truly isn't, because there's a huge flip side to it.
Yes, I have accompanied, Swati on one of her wedding projects.
Oh, yes, I
And
remember.
I
Yeah.
think I compared her to a laborer, and
Yeah, yeah.
I said, my
I
God,
am a labor,
you
yes.
are literally on your
I am a
feet,
labor,
and
yes.
literally, from where bushes need to appear and where flowers need to appear, and, the whole set. It is a
Everything,
large
yeah.
scale set.
It is indeed.
So I've
So,
seen you work, and it's
yeah,
not all glamorous. And
it is
when
not.
when you're invited for the same wedding in the
Yeah.
evening, the last thing you want to do is attend that. It's like cooking
Absolutely,
an
absolutely.
elaborate meal
Yeah,
and not having flavor
yeah,
for that in the end of the day.
yeah. So,
So another question I wanted to ask you is the extent to which people go and the extent to which they expect these days on a wedding is just going higher and higher. And do you think somewhere down the line we're losing the true essence of what, a wedding is supposed to symbolize, and what is it supposed to mean? Because everything is so staged, right from, the proposal video, to the, bride entry, or the this or the that. Tell me something, where is the real feeling? How does one catch it? And even with the celebrity weddings, which that Siddharth Malhotra, and, with all
a
the
lot
rest
of
of
other
them,
celebs, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, everything is so staged, and people look at that and people want that.
Okay, Preeti, I'm going to answer that later. You have a daughter, Trisha. How would you like her wedding to be? Maybe, I mean, I want to understand. I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
Staging is a very subjective thing.
Right.
I have 3 children. I would like a very intimate weddings. God, I hope my kids, when they grow up, they do agree to marry. So,
See,
so,
that's another important thing. At
so,
least we're open to this.
yeah, yeah.
That is not necessarily the path they have to take.
Correct. And there is no peer pressure about the
Right,
same. It's
right.
okay. It's
And
okay.
then this is something I agree with you. Like, you asked me what I
What
would
would
want
you
for her.
want for Trisha?
Firstly, it's not about what I want for her.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
what she wants for herself.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if she does choose to
I
marry,
love that. Yes. I love that.
I think she has expressed that she would at the right time.
Yeah.
And she has said that she would want a more intimate affair.
100%.
And,
So,
looking at the elaborate amount of money which is spent on this couple of
segment.
days,
Yeah.
this whole couple of days, she feels that rather that money
Give
should
it to
be
her. Yeah.
spent on something more productive,
correct, correct.
And I don't know if a lot of people think like this. They're
I
huge
do.
budgets.
I do.
And I think you're right, is each to their own.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's my personal take. But because somewhere down the line, that whole essence of the wedding goes, that moment.
Uh, if I could call a spade, you see, there is a huge rat race, what we call bhed chal in Hindi, because my neighbor or my friend or my relative has called XYZ Bollywood or Hollywood celebrity,
Correct. Performers.
even if we don't have deep pockets, but we would go all out, bleed financially, but prove a different whole look to the world. Prove a point that, hey, look, I am better off than you. So I think that whole pressure from a client's point of view also, I'm not saying everybody chooses that path.
Yeah, I agree.
But, it's a very individualistic approach.
Right.
I've dealt with all kind of clients in my span of 22 years.
Your weddings has become like an industry.
It is
And there are a
very
lot of
evolved
ancillary
industry.
support industries around it. There's the flower industry.
There's catering,
Right.
invitation, invites, printing, gifting, bridal makeup.
And then you have the Sangeet,
Sound and light,
the
everything.
choreographers.
Choreographers, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
somewhere, and recently I was viewing a wedding in Dubai, and everything looks so copy paste, like,
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm
like
saying,
they
rat
all
race.
want that one
Yeah.
background, and they're more concerned about the number of views they're getting on their
Correct.
wedding
I know what you
videos.
mean, yeah.
Or, I have got X lakh views, and I mean, where's that real moment? Swati, do you
But-
remember the days when a wedding entailed one wedding album?
Oh my God.
And then those one
yeah.
hideous video of,
Oh my
I
God.
still remember my wedding video. It's
Yeah,
hideous.
yeah.
I mean, I would never want to look at it.
So you can, you can copy paste
So
and change the effects.
I think,
to
what
the-
I feel is now, if you could come, there should be a middle path to that.
I think so.
Middle
I think
path.
it's just too done with the same old,
Yeah.
same old,
Yeah.
post-COVID. I mean, everywhere you see Insta handle. I wish we were more instrumental with it in terms of getting more business. Social media is the best thing. But you know what? All that glitters is not gold. It definitely isn't. What you see sometimes, a decor could be minimalistic, very classy. I'm not talking about the money power that people end up spending, but I'm talking about everything that's minutely detailed and is impeccable in terms of when you walk into a venue, small or big, in terms of its space, in terms of the guest list, whether it's a compact gathering or the whole world who's invited.
I also get this feeling like sometimes I get invites for weddings from people I barely know.
Yeah, crazy.
I don't
This
understand
is what I'm saying.
why people would want to collect crowds.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not talking about your business and
Correct.
wedding decor as such.
Correct.
I'm just talking about the tendency of people. Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for your daughter? Or are you doing it to show off to the whole world?
I think the third one in today's time.
You
I
know,
think the third one you've pointed
You can
it
have a
out,
classy,
yeah.
intimate, beautiful affair.
Absolutely,
Maybe you have that kind of money and you want to do a nice affair for your child.
yeah,
You want to do it in some fort. You want to do it in
Yeah,
Jaipur. You want to do a location
Correct,
wedding,
correct,
whatever. But you don't know so many people. But you want everybody to be there on your wedding.
Yeah, it's like Preeti is my best friend. Someone else who's friends with her. I've never known her. Even as an acquaintance, her friends, I would gather the crowd for my dues. For God's sake, this is what we call rat race. Get out of this show-off thinking,
Correct, yeah.
which has taken over the world. And it's sort of blinded
Right.
everybody.
Yeah.
And this blindness, this aankhon ki patti needs to go off.
Yeah.
You need to be very realistic about what you want to do. Not just for weddings, but in life.
I also
in its
feel,
totality.
Swati, even because of this entire thing, that whole effect on what they want to show to people,
Correct.
Is the reason why in your work line there's a lot of pressure on you people. I mean, everybody wants that perfect Karan Johar movie. That moment. The bride has to walk in like the movie. The bride has to look like a heroine. Everything has to happen like a movie. But we have real life. So you guys have that pressure to produce this movie in one day, right?
And which we do.
Yeah.
Our bodies and mindsets and hands are actually now fine-tuned over these many
Right.
years in a way that we can work, at least I can, 48 hours without blinking an eye. And how I love it, I'd like to really believe that when your passion becomes your profession, there is absolutely no looking back. There is no stopping. Then you don't feel the burden. But yeah, in season time, like in India, there are sire dates, And over the years, you tend to get very close to your clients. They sort of become family and friends like family, Supposing two people close to you have a clash of wedding dates and you're in a spot not to be able to say no to them, you're in a fix. That's the time we've had it. That's the time we've
As a
really had
planner.
it. As a decor company,
Okay.
as a decor company.
Okay.
Morning, you've got somebody's Anand Karaj. The same evening, you've got Mehndi. The same night, you've got cocktails. Look, I've learned the art of saying no to people. But even when I've learned the art, there are some people, maybe fist finger people, you can't say a no to them.
So tell me something. In those days or earlier, there used to be the same functions, like like you said, the chura,
The mehndi,
the sangeet,
haldi,
the
yeah.
mehndi. These are very simple functions done at
Correct,
home.
correct.
I can understand you having the big fat Indian wedding, or you can have that one reception. But now everything is this been done by the decor stylists to suit them? You want to convert every little intimate thing into this big,
Uh, Look, it's a very subjective question. It's like we do talk to our clients to advise them in terms of keeping the close knit, intimate ceremonies very, very compact so that the serenity is not lost.
yes.
Like Haldi is very intimate.
I'll tell
But
you, there's another wedding which is happening in Malaysia, Indian family again, and they have 20 functions. 20 functions.
why didn't you introduce me to this family? But you know what? I'm very fond of Modi ji. And I think it's a brilliant way he's introduced recently to encourage people to do destination weddings within India.
No, that's great, but I'm just saying
you know,
20 functions. So, of course,
that's
that's a lot of
crazy.
business.
No, it's tiring.
There's a lot of business for the designer.
For everybody,
There's a lot of
everybody.
business for the makeup
Caterer,
people.
yeah,
everybody. So,
everybody,
this
yeah.
is just a lot of business. It's become
Yeah.
a business, of course.
Yeah, but 20 is a lot. I mean, the guests are going to get exhausted changing wardrobes and
Yeah,
costumes.
yeah.
It's
you
crazy.
you
it's
sneeze in the
tiring.
wedding, and that's a function.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, but that's tiring.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not practical, you know.
So tell me something. When we speak about all this, it sounds very hectic.
It is. It is.
And this is a personal question.
Yes.
So how do you deal with all this, and how has it not affected your mental and physical health? How have you kept yourself
So
sane?
I think it's
The little
God's,
sane that you are.
the you know, it's God's grace
Yeah.
that we were able to sustain all these years. But yeah, not everything, like I said.
Yeah.
I'm reiterating that glitters is not gold. With the new, younger generation, most nook and corners, what you find in India, and I'm talking India specific, pan India specific right now, this newer generation, most of them are wedding planners or florist or decor stylist. Some days it wasn't easy to sustain. We sustained beautifully for years, but some days because of cost cutting, and I'm being very honest about it because there's nothing to hide.
People bargain a lot.
Well, they do. Bargaining is
Yeah.
okay. We all do when need be. We don't where there's no need to bargain. But because of there is so much availability of decor stylists.
Now.
I think the people like us who started years ago, I think there was I won't call it competition, but yeah, because of their cost cutting, I think we lost on business. So I did spend a few years struggling, and I want to be very candid about it. We all struggle. There are Bollywood actors, who go out of movie in action sometimes.
Right.
So it did happen to me, to us, but it's okay, no complaints. I think there was time that God gave me from that crazy, hectic back-to-back schedule to rest my feet up, to do a self-introspect of my own journey. And I see Guruji's grace even in that time when we were a little out of business. And then we bounced back. It's okay. Everything is designed by God.
I know
And,
my question was also a little different. I feel when you have a very, you're a mother, you're a wife.
Yeah.
Your many roles you play as a woman, you have to, put
Juggle
on many
everything,
hats.
yeah.
And something has to give. Nothing comes. There's no free lunch, and you end up sacrificing some part of your life. We've all had a journey, and none of our lives are perfect. And I'm not here to portray anybody's perfect life, neither mine. And along the way, because you have women who are living these lives which are fast paced these days. You have to be good professionally, you have to be good personally. There's a lot of
Robotic.
pressure on a woman.
Yeah.
So from what I'm asking you is that how did you manage? Was it a learning experience? You lost and then you learned? For example, how did it impact your family, your family life? Because wedding planning can take up a lot of your time, a lot of your effort, and a lot of your patience.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Preeti. I mean, in life, sometimes you end up losing
Right.
or sacrificing the most important people or places in your life. My children, especially my older two
Yeah.
daughters, they were growing up, and I couldn't devote so much time to them.
Right.
And to be straight, there is a huge guilt factor about the same in my soul, which I can never get out of. But I feel the better side, there is always a flip side
Flip
to
side, yeah,
everything.
yeah.
But I think the better side is it made my children very hands on.
Correct.
Today, they are very
Yes.
strong individuals, God's grace, of course.
Correct.
But our circumstances were very different. I had very unfortunate circumstances in my personal space, which I don't want to discuss.
Yeah.
When I least expected a downfall of my personal space to occur, it just emerged, that situation.
Yeah. So
You know,
in life,
which,
you are faced with a lot of personal problems, and you yet have to
I mean,
turn up for your
honestly,
work.
Preeti,
Yeah.
since we're talking about my life and you directing the question in so many words, my personal problem is it's a very small term. It was
Right.
a disaster.
Yeah.
It was a catastrophe,
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't want to talk about it, but I do have a message for women who are trying to juggle career, children, husbands, families, social scene, obligations, all of it all together. I think sometimes we don't realize what is most important to us. You yourself is most important. The art of loving yourself, what you want is most
I think you're
important.
right. We lose
We
ourselves
forget ourselves.
completely. Yeah, Swati, I can actually relate to you about the guilt we carry with us. All my life, I have also carried that guilt. I think it's just that generation, our generation of working women, I was discussing it with someone else the other day that women usually worked because they needed to, because of money, or it was a hobby which they carried forward. But some of us had that inner drive in us and that passion to do something, whether it is besides looking good, besides being the good wife and the good mother and the good daughter in law and good everything, you also wanted to do something and make a difference. And people like you and me who have carved out that niche for ourselves, it has come at a price. I agree with you when you say that you were guilty about the time you would have spent with your children, and there are certain times I reflect where I felt, yeah, I could have spent more time with my daughter, especially my first young. We were all young mothers. I think during our time, it was more about checking the boxes. I mean, I would say it's also karma, it's also our fate, but something called will, your will. And I made some choices, you've made these choices. The only thing is, as we go forward, we decide not to carry that guilt along with us. And we pat ourselves on the back, and because I think we've come a long way. Women have come a long way. Life is not a bed of roses for anybody. And,
Okay. Okay.
of course, we all enter into lives hoping to have the perfect everything else,
I wish we did. I wish we did.
and we've all had a lot of people talk about their challenges. A lot of people are shy about talking about their challenges, and a lot of people have decided to just shove it under the carpet. This is just about bringing it out in the open that it's okay if you have a life which is full of challenges. Not everyone has to have a particular kind of life. We don't have to have the same story as what is shown in old movies, I would say now. It's new age, and so we've come a long way. Life is no longer that Karan Johar movie, is it?
Correct. Well, it never was.
I think we were delusional then.
I think, yeah, we were
You
all.
know, we were
I think there
delusional.
are still, we all live in disillusion,
Yeah.
in a different bubble world.
Yeah.
But whereas the reality is something else,
Right.
See,
It's true. Like, I'll tell you something. Even my opinion on love, because that's my next question. Do you believe
to me,
in love? Falling in love?
I love you, Guruji. I love
That's
you, my
that's true.
daughters.
That's true. That's true.
Vijay, you're the sweetest. I love you, Preeti. You're my sweetest friend. I love you, Sheena. That's love for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. There was a time where
Takes two to tango, Preeti.
Valentine's Day, and
mean,
it's true. Valentine's Day and everything was so idealized.
Yeah,
That
as
love,
long as,
that
yeah,
one love.
yeah.
And I think I see people going crazy about falling in love. And as everybody says, rise in love. And you can only rise in love when you love the universe, the God, and God above there. And I think we have had enough experience in our life, and we can have a few words of wisdom, that what we were 20 years ago, I would say what I was 6 years ago, 5 years ago, and what my opinion on love was. I'm not jaded, but definitely love is not as we defined it then.
I think love, firstly, it only exists in movies. Whether it's Hollywood or Bollywood,
It's true.
it's a very filmy thing.
It's a very
I
filmy
mean,
thing.
tell me one relationship, mother to a daughter, husband and a wife, friend to friend. You fight a lot with me.
Yeah.
Tell me one love story that's picture perfect, which is bed of roses. All of us, when you share a roof, there has to be difference of opinion. We could agree to disagree. I mean, love is a very overrated term. You could love your profession, your children, of course, your friends, and that whole thing about, I love you, baby, let's get married. Yeah, okay, love marriage is fabulous. But then down the years, that bond, that understanding, like they say, it takes two to tango. It somewhere fades away. People either get busy with careers or the choices about life, the perception changes. So if you're in love, you have to constantly keep making efforts. To me, love is only in Hollywood and Bollywood movies. I see love in my guru, in my children, uh, in you, Preeti,
Yeah.
in my best friend Sheena, and in my life partner Vijay. I mean, I don't know anyone else I could love with so much understanding.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like, we have put so much expectations on that one relationship.
Correct. And there's a lot of
You
pressure
know, you fall in
to,
love, and,
and you grow out of it.
and
I've
marriage.
done weddings two to three times of the same couple.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd rather not
But I'll tell
marry.
you something. When you say you've done weddings 2, 3 times, and I would say that's good news, because at least you're not staying together when you're not in love anymore, or you're not staying in a toxic relationship. Because a lot of times people stay in toxic relationships just so that they shield themselves from what people think. And do you think those people are going to
The
live your
society
life?
pressure.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of pressure
yeah,
from society as to what you should or shouldn't be doing.
And people are so judgmental.
Yes.
People are so opinionated.
Right.
Since I follow Guruji, last 26 years, I feel he's the most non-judgmental Guruji.
Correct.
He's the most accepting Guruji that we've had. And I think that's what I've learned.
Yeah.
Acceptance, surrenderance, faith over fear.
And not to judge anybody else's journey.
We have no license.
I just feel everybody is so much in everyone else's space.
Not
Whether-
you and me.
Not us.
Not
but
you and me,
A lot of
yes.
people are so much into everyone else's life. What
That's
is
because
she
they don't
doing?
mind their own lanes.
Correct. What is she doing?
Yeah.
What is she up to?
Yeah.
What kind of a relationship does
Crazy.
everything have to be depicted on social media? And
Of course not. It should be banned.
And-
social media
right.
should be banned
Yeah.
completely. It's like
no, not completely.
no, but I'll tell you what, Preeti. It's like there is no life without a phone. Something as basic as a phone today. We're all busy on our phones forever. And I think somewhere we've lost connect with each other because we're always on our digital toys.
Yeah, that's what we were.
Digital
Someone
toys,
earlier in another show I was doing, someone spoke about bonding with the other person.
yeah.
And, but I just feel that we've come a long way. And in life, the way we used to idolize, I would say my
Love.
own journey,
Yeah.
that because I thought it has to be that perfect love, there was a lot of pressure on that relationship. And it just doesn't work out like this. Neither am I perfect. Neither
No
is
one
the
is.
other person
None of
perfect.
us are, yeah.
And I feel nothing has to last forever.
Yeah, correct.
My belief is the only unconditional love you share is with your child and with your parents. Everybody else is transiting in your life. Everybody else, your partners, your lovers, your husband, they are there. They are your partners. I mean, it's important. They play a good role. But your children is unconditional.
Period.
I mean, have you ever
Children,
heard of
yes.
anyone divorcing their children?
Yeah.
Or a child divorcing the mother? As badly as your child will behave with you,
Mother's cords are always
you have
connected
to suck it up.
to children. Yeah.
And you have to deal with your children.
Yeah.
So I feel unconditional love only exists there.
Yeah, correct. No, I totally resonate.
Yeah.
I totally second this.
Right.
The parenthood.
Right.
And the relationship, the bonding between kids and parents.
Right.
Is totally unconditional.
But I just feel that, it's been so engraved in my system. My conditioning, my upbringing, our surroundings, our environment, the movies we saw, the books we read, what our parents told us. You see your parents slug it out to thick and thin.
And the
You
Mills and
see-
Boons we read.
Yeah, the Mills and Boons you read. You see unhappy marriages. You see unhappy people together, and they're together. I mean, I came from a family where I don't think my parents really got along with each other too much. But divorce was unheard of that time.
Correct.
And, I think those are toxic environments.
So I'll tell you what happens. And I'm sorry, I've been blaming social media through and through. Someone will post a very rosy picture. The other couple would compare. So I think it's all very disillusioned. Whatever my personal journey and my capacity has been, it's not been a bed of roses. You know that.
I mean, I feel
It's-
I
it's been-
appreciate one thing about you, Swati,
been
is
very
that you've
tough.
never really been a people pleaser.
No,
I
never
think it
would
was
be.
out of the 22 years I've known you, you were the last one to be the people pleaser. And, maybe the first 5 years I knew you, you were still bothered about what people said.
Yeah, not
But
after that,
there's one thing I can say that I'm very proud of you and your journey. You stood for yourself. You stood for what you believed in.
So are you. I'm so proud of
I
you.
think that's why I say,
mean,
they say you attract your vibe.
correct. Same tribe vibe.
Yeah, so it
You know,
does.
there is no gray in your life.
Yeah.
And that's how we resonate.
So that's what I would say, and my message to people around who are watching us is, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's-
Absolutely. Look, even if you roll your entire self out to do something or for someone, there are people out there who have lack of occupation who will still talk about
People
you.
will talk about you.
So forget about the world.
And should I tell you something? Women are easier targets. Sorry to say, women are easier targets. You're
But
single.
also women talk about women.
Women
Easier
do.
target, but women
so
talk
then,
about women.
this should be a platform where we reach out to people and say that women should support women.
I think the same tribe supports each other.
They do. They are much
the
better
jealous
now.
tribe, please
Yeah.
stay away.
Right,
please.
right.
I think I'm personally at a stage and space
Hmm.
in my life where there's no room for toxic associations.
That's so true in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have no time. I mean, we don't even know how long we're all here for.
No, we don't.
And our journey
Yeah.
on earth, like you said, and I'm reiterating, we're all transiting. Our journey is not here. And I feel life should be taken a little more in a easy peasy way. And we should live our lives, not just exist, not get into a rat race.
I feel also that, Swati, we've been around enough people and we've had enough life experiences where if we don't reflect on our own wisdom and continue in a random manner, it's a waste of a journey. So, for example, when you said you've excluded toxic people, toxic experiences,
Totally filter
and you
out.
protect your energy.
Yeah, totally filtered.
We all know that we have this limited amount of energy.
Correct.
And we do have to continue donning different hats.
Yeah.
Whether that's of a mother, that's of a businesswoman, someone in society.
Yeah.
So what do? You have to ration your energy.
Yeah,
Like that. Indian society views you differently. God forbid you go through a life experience where you are single for some time.
Yeah.
Okay, I have been alone for some time, and I enter a party and you have everybody looking, and everybody has their own set of assumptions, and it is a task.
But Preeti, you remain totally unbothered. It's okay. I mean, remember, there are also people who were never happy for you, who
Yes.
still aren't happy for you. But all of this has not affected your grace, your poise, your grit, your power, your strength. So that's okay. You're one of the few who represent grace, grit, bravery. Bravo. I mean, you've been there, done it all, stood the test of times. Life has not been easy on you. I've known you for more than 2 decades, but you've come out of all of this in a much more stronger way. Today I see you as a very evolved human being. Perhaps what mattered to you 15 years back, it doesn't even exist in your life.
No, it doesn't.
You couldn't give a FF about it.
No, we don't.
So why think about it and waste even those 2 seconds from your precious life?
Yeah, but I also feel it's something which people should look at. You've never walked in anyone else's shoes.
Correct, I agree.
And
I
we are
agree.
very, very privileged to have friends
Correct.
who we've
Support
seen
us,
having
yeah.
different stories. I've been a part of her life. I've seen her journey. There was a time when I really didn't know her. Maybe I judged her for a split second. But the
Well,
minute,
for a long time. She judged me for a very long time. She was very judgmental.
no, I was just a perfectionist. And, but along the line, when you start loving someone and when you start being with someone, you understand where they're coming from.
Totally, yeah.
And then, then there was a point where I saw you change and you grow beautifully. But what I'm trying to say is, like, since we are in a platform where women should support women and people, I don't expect a lot of support from men in general, but at least women should empower women and not pull them down, not gossip about them, not bitch about them. If somebody wants to start a new project, support them. If someone, is gone through a bad time, don't gossip about them.
And I think that's very important. And that's one message I'd like to give all women, whether you're working, you're not working. You should learn to filter out whatever's toxic. I'm sorry, even if it's a relationship you're in.
Yeah.
Because why do we stop functioning our minds, when we're not in a happy space, in our personal space? So I feel it's better for two people to not share the same roof if you can't even have a dialogue with each other.
Just to put on a show in society.
Yeah, I mean, what is a society? This is all dikhava. We're all here for a limited period.
Yeah.
In COVID, we saw people we thought were immortal, just
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Life is so short.
Life is
it's
short.
so fragile. It's so unpredictable. I think what we all need to do is write down a list of things we want to do for our own selves. Peace, most important.
Peace
At
of
least
mind,
for
yeah.
me, very
Peace of mind is
important.
so important.
I choose peace over any drama today, Preeti. Any drama. Whether it's your family, your relatives, your friends, your spouse, your partner. I think children are the only people you can pardon. And they can misbehave with you and get away. They can fight with you and get
That's
away.
what happens in my case too, yeah.
Yeah, I love you, my kids.
Yeah.
You mean the world to me.
I speak
But,
about all these things about marking my boundaries and setting my standards. But I feel all that gets washed out when it comes to my own two children.
Children, yeah,
And how much ever I try, I think I believe in karma in a big way. And
100%.
I feel you're born with certain people because of some karmic bonds,
Correct.
and certain people trigger some aspects in you. And I was a very impatient mother because I was a mother in my 20s. And I was working. I had a job. I mean, I had my own business in New York. And I was very impatient, always rushing through life and rushing through everything. And I just realized that I was very impatient with my children. And now that's my turn. So when they're impatient with me now, it's payback.
Yeah.
That's what my daughter tells me.
So
It's
everything
payback, Mama.
boomerangs back at
It
you,
boomerangs
right?
back
Yeah,
to
it
me.
does.
So that is one relationship you really have to make work in today's,
100%.
because you have brought them to this world.
Yeah.
So it's your responsibility.
100%.
But everything else besides that, if anything is hampering your personal peace of mind, it's got to go.
Most imperative.
It's got to go.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you don't need to be patient in your marriages and your relationships. Of course, There is nothing like a perfect marriage or a perfect relationship.
There is no perfect
Yeah.
life.
Look for good days, look for good
Yeah.
moments.
Look, I feel appreciate what you have in common and respect what you don't. I
Absolutely.
mean, no siblings are similar.
Yeah.
No five fingers are alike.
Right.
So I think it's the whole expectation tag.
Yeah.
I think today I'm at peace with my own existence.
Yeah.
Because I don't expect anything from anybody. I think there is a lot I do on my own. And I'm very thankful to God that at least I'm in a position where I'm able to do what I need to do or what keeps me happy,
Yeah.
what makes me happy.
I also feel, Swati, there was a time where it was expected of a woman that, "Arey, this is marriage at this age and children at that age," and now we as women who have lived that life, and we had put the strongest expectations on our own self. The reason why we are so much on overdrive is because we put the most heaviest expectations on ourselves. And looking at the way we crashed many times in our life, I wouldn't say my journey is perfect. I've made a lot of mistakes in my journey.
We've all done.
And
we've all made
looking at the
mistakes.
way I have crashed, I think the only thing I could do is set an example for my own children and for women who watch me, is that you don't have to follow any particular path set by society.
Totally.
There's no reason, there's no timeline. You don't have to get married by A time. You don't have to have children by B time.
True.
You have to first love yourself, know
100%.
yourself.
Most important.
Yeah. So even
To
though
love
it's late in
yourself.
the day that I'm getting to know myself and learning to be,
Well, they
I'm
say
enjoying the journey right
it's
now.
never too late
Yeah.
to do the right thing in life.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Look, we all learn.
Right.
धक्के खा खा कर. I've also been ragdolled enough in life. And because nothing comes easy sometimes.
So if you had to give advice to yourself 25 years ago, what would it be?
Wow.
Not even 25, 20 years ago, let's see.
I wish
To your own self.
I had the heart of endurance to tolerate toxic people then. I didn't. I was very straight, very candid. Today I've learned to accommodate because I've learned to draw a line. What is toxic, filter it out. I was very,
Reactive.
in a big way, yeah. I mean, whether it was in office or with domestic help. But today I would say I've learned to accept people for what they represent. Even in office, Preeti, if someone's not as hands-on or result-oriented as I do,
Yeah,
I won't
yourself.
use the word expect, but as I perceive them to be. But I'm okay with it, as long as they learn. So the art of endurance is something that I've learned over the years. I wish I had more endurance then, but today I feel like a whole new person, and
You're happier with this new
I'm
you.
at peace.
You're
I'm
at peace,
because
and that's what matters.
Because I've come to terms with my destiny. I feel whatever happened, the catastrophe in my personal space, uh, I'm not judging who's at fault, who wasn't, why did it happen. Uh, I have a guru who guides me, and उनकी मर्जी के अलावा तो कुछ भी नहीं होता. So it took a lot to take that in stride, but that's it. I've accepted it.
No, that's a beautiful message to, because it's from your wisdom. You spend 20 odd years understanding that aspect. And sometimes people spend lifetimes but don't gain that wisdom. So I would say it's a journey worth, reflecting on.
I mean, I'm just, I think gratitude is an art.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful to God for all I have in terms of my own learning.
Yeah.
And I'm even thankful for what I lost.
Yeah.
Because somewhere it was toxic.
When you also said, Swati, that, if you could, when you look back on your life and you were very candid, and if you could be a little bit more enduring at that time, and it reminds me of myself. I saw everything as black and white. Life was black and white. Ya to ye, ya to wo. Okay, there was no in between. And shades of grey.
Shades of grey,
is something which is a concept which
yeah.
didn't exist for me.
then, yeah.
I wouldn't say that I believe in shades of grey now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because we're also evolved.
You know, the thing is because जो आपकी फितरत होती है, your main essence can't change. You can't change your essence. But then you get a wider perspective with life. कि ये भी ठीक है और ये भी ठीक
Yeah,
है.
because that's acceptance.
Correct.
Life teaches
Yes,
you
yes.
to completely humble down.
Right. It teaches you to
And-
humble.
Yeah,
And
it
there are
does.
no black and white answers to anything in life.
And,
You
and
know,
my
there
learning.
was something down the line, it used to really bother me that, but why is this person not like that? I never would do this. Why has this person done this? Because it took me a long, long, long life journey to understand that's their journey, and they're completely different human beings than I am. They have come on their own journey, and to mind my own business and to stick on my path. You know, I think the biggest key for all of us is to maintain that peace and calm within us amidst the storm of a life.
True, I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Like, how do we maneuver our own self? We get up every morning. We are the same mothers, daughters, sisters, businesswomen, whatever, you know, those people who are going to face all adverse things from all over. People are going to come to you from all sides. But how are you going to maintain your calm and peace? And who are you doing it for? You're doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
You're not doing it
Very
for anybody
important.
else. So, you know, you...
I think women need to learn this. You
Yeah.
know. Self-love is most imperative. Living for yourself is very, very important. But unfortunately, we forget to live for ourselves because we're so pressurized with the society norms. And as Indians, we're engineered in a way. पहले पढ़ो, finish your studies,
हाँ.
internship, career,
Correct.
shadi, bacha, and you're just so sucked up
Yeah.
with the whole thing.
Yeah.
By the end of it, when you realize it's too late in the day.
Right.
And I feel sometimes your circumstances mature you before time. You have no option but to live in acceptance.
I think the truth, the peace comes in acceptance and surrendering. I have finally come to a point in my life. I mean, I wouldn't call that being a go-getter when I was younger. I was living in New York and, you know, rushing through life, walking fast, as if the world will come to an end if I don't meet my deadlines. And this whole corporate world which you are in. And, you know, New York being a very high-paced fashion district, and I was there in that business where, you know, things change like this.
Correct, yeah.
So that became a part of my personality. And I felt I could control everything else. And that's when you say, you know, the presence of a guru in your life, when you finally realize that, you know, your reach is there, only till there. And everything else is
True.
up to, not a leaf will fall without
Do we know?
God's
Yeah,
will.
I mean, do we know if we're going to live tomorrow? No.
No.
I could go out of this place.
Yeah.
And anything can happen. So I think that whole disillusion that we have so many years in life.
Delusion,
left,
yeah. We are deluded.
You know, yeah, we're all delusion
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
And I think today is all we have.
Yeah.
And today is our present. And that's why it's called a gift. So gift yourself today because that's all we have. Live in the now moment.
I
That's most
completely,
important.
you know, I couldn't completely agree. I think I've had enough life experiences where
Yeah.
I can value things like my freedom.
Correct.
I value things like love,
Yeah.
time with people you
Yeah.
spend, because you get into this rat race of life, you know,
Correct.
and you know, you can be a very ambitious person in the sense you want to work hard, you want to please this one, you want to please that one. No one is going to get pleased.
Yeah.
Nothing is in your hands. Now, my biggest concern and my biggest priority right now is to get up in the morning and be happy.
Beautiful.
How am I going to be happy?
Yeah.
You know, what are my choices today?
Yeah,
You know, along the way, it's very recent that I've started spending time with myself. Because it has been all about everyone else in my life, all my life. And I think for a lot of women, this is how it is.
True, true.
You know, and so what do you want to do? Do I like to read? Do I like to cycle? Do I like to play badminton? Do I like to sing a song? What do I want to do today? You know, this is a fake life you create where you think you
I
have to do
I agree.
There is nobody who can force you to do anything you don't want to do.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Right. So people who live in that whole victim mentality,
Correct. Oh my God. Yeah.
you know, कि मैं क्या करूं?
Yeah, that needs to change. Listen.
Yeah.
Look at the world population.
Yeah.
It's immense.
Yeah.
And you're bored. Get up. Make that effort.
Right.
Do what you like to do. It could be a hobby. It could be your profession. It could be spending time with your spouse, two friends, to your children, to whoever.
Yeah.
You know, but get up, do something.
I feel today you're surrounded by so many opportunities. I mean, everything is very
Exposure,
easily
yeah,
available.
exposure, opportunities,
Yeah.
and so much more to do.
I mean,
you know.
something like you getting into wedding decor 22 years ago when it was kind of an
Very
unheard
new,
of
yeah,
field.
yeah.
These days, getting into cosmetics, making your own product, everything is so well connected.
Correct.
I mean, there's so many things which I'm trying today which might not work out.
That's okay.
But I do it for
At
my
least
fun.
you're trying, Preeti.
Yes.
You've been there, done it all.
Right.
What else do you want to do?
Yeah, so-
It's okay. You're at a stage where you're rediscovering
Yes.
something new that you would like to do.
Right.
I mean, from New York to Delhi to having your stores world over, you've been there, done it all. What more? I mean, life is a full circle for you.
Yeah.
Touch wood, knock on your head rather than wood.
Yeah.
God's been kind. And whatever in the past you've gone through, it's not easy, but you stood tall with grit and grace. It is not everybody's cup.
End to all women out there, to all people out there. Ignore all the naysayers. Clean your life.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with positive people who will propel you, your journey, and your purpose. There's a lot to look forward to. But first and foremost, invest in yourself. Okay? And have a journey which is worth talking about and you enjoy on a daily basis. Even if you sit at home and do nothing, even if you're just watching TV, if you're happy, you do what makes you happy.
Our minds are very small to comprehend God's plans.
Yeah, so basically to look at a
and,
rejection as a redirection.
It was a
and
redirection.
God's plan.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful way to look at
And thank
things.
you, God.
When things
Thank
happen
you,
to you
God.
in a certain manner,
Yeah.
and how to take it as a blessing.
Yeah, in a positive
It's
way.
easier said than done when you're going through something, 5 years of not being able to speak.
It was very, very tough.
Or, somebody who suffered from cancer.
Yeah.
There are a lot of
it
beautiful
was-
stories where people have gone through difficult times.
Yeah.
And this is just to tell everybody out there that everybody has a story to tell.
Never lose hope. Hope
Yeah.
keeps you going. You're the only person who can pat your back, kickstart your life again. No one else can do it, of course. I'm lucky I have her, to lift me in my totality. But yeah, hope is something we all should, till your last breath, whatever your mind perceives, you should keep the hope
So
going.
live in gratitude and be happy every single day.
Biggest,
Yeah?
biggest learning, yes. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Swati.
Preeti.